Hello, welcome to High Vibration Living, Leaders Bridging Inner and Outer Peace. I'm your host, Leah Skurdal, Resilience Guide and Visionary Thought Leader. My guest today is Elizabeth Kipp, Ancestral Clearing Guide, and we are delighted to have you join us today. My intention for this gathering is to create a container of acceptance and belonging, because we leaders, we do the best we can. We try to keep our vibes high, and sometimes life happens, especially when we are working with youth. We can get triggered. But whether we're a corporate trainer, parent, grandparent, auntie, uncle, youth group leader, we are bringing our highest and best selves into the moment as we're able. So know that you're welcome here, and that I hope you leave feeling blessed. The Wellness Universe offers us these programs because we believe that happy, healthy, healed humans lead to peace globally. And we offer these sessions free by donation because we want them to be available to all. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. You can make a contribution at the end or anytime in between. And contributions go in part benefit Congolese refugees in Uganda who were my former Peace Corps students. So thank you very much. Any contribution ripples out. All right. So also, I invite to create a safe and sacred space. Let's take a moment to get centered. Whatever it took to get here today, whether you're listening live or on the recording, bring your awareness into this now moment. Bring your awareness from your head to your heart to your belly. You're invited, you're welcome to be on camera if you would like. We're happy to have you join us live to create this circle. So we're just bringing our awareness into this now moment, bringing awareness all the way down through your torso, through your legs, through your feet into the earth. And find those roots expanding out around the circle and straight down. And now breathe that energy back up through your feet, through your legs, torso, out the top of your head, surrounding you like a fountain, and being fully present in this now moment. Bring your awareness to your behind your belly button, behind your heart, the center of your head, and connect those three spots: head, heart, belly. And now bring that awareness into your tailbone and up the spine, along the cerebral spinal fluid, into your brain, back down, around again. And now, do you feel more fully present in this now moment? All right. Thank you so much. So now we would like to hear all the voices. You're welcome to, again, you're welcome to come on camera. You're welcome to use the mic. And we'd like you to claim your space here by saying your name, where you are in the world, and a word that you are bringing in to this gathering today. I'll start. I'm Leah Skurdal. My feet touch the ground in Minnesota, in the central part of the United States, just south of the Canadian border. And the word I'm bringing today is the word that caught my attention is unexpected. That's interesting. Like unexpected. Okay. All right. What is unexpected today? All right, Elizabeth.
Well, thank you so much for that lovely centering, Leah. That was beautiful. Yeah, I'm Elizabeth. I'm in Lawrence, Kansas, ancestral home of the Wichita and Kaw. And the word for me today is grateful.
Grateful. Okay. Would anyone else like to add their word to the chat, or to your voice, add your voice to the room?
Hi, I'm Sharon from Albany, New York, and my word is I'm toggling between two, but um, support.
Support. Okay. Thank you very much. Grateful, unexpected support. And Julia had to hop off. Sorry that we missed her. Maybe she'll be able to hear the recording. So think of it as you watch the recording, find that word in your heart that is present for you today. So today we are exploring patterns of behavior and belief systems that maybe we inherited from our ancestors. Maybe we have outgrown some of these patterns. I'm delighted to introduce our featured speaker today, Ancestral Clearing Practitioner and Stress Management Specialist, Elizabeth Kipp. Elizabeth is a trained and yoga, and my letters are too small. Elizabeth is a trauma-trained and yoga-informed addiction recovery coach, ancestral clearing and compassionate inquiry practitioner, yoga teacher, and author of The Way Through Chronic Pain, Tools to Reclaim Your Healing Power. And today Elizabeth is talking about ancestral clearing. What is it? How can it help you? Elizabeth will be offering an explanation and experience of ancestral clearing to help us release the negative imprint effects of intergenerational trauma. Yes. And Elizabeth, did you already add your
I did.
Contact information to the chat? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Add it again just to, for people that, I'm not sure if everybody got it, everybody was here when I put it in the first time. Every time you come in through, whoop, I have to add it again. Now we have a new person.
Wonderful.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hello, welcome, Lorraine. You're welcome to come on camera if you would like. All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Well, thank you, Leah, for this platform, for the beautiful offering you have at least once a month, at least in this you've got your meditation thing you do too, which is amazing. Yeah, Ancestral Clearing is a trademarked and registered modality that's it was developed and taught by John Newton of Health Beyond Belief. You can find him on his website, healthbeyondbelief.com. And it was pioneered by Howard Wills, who also has a website. They're both very powerful people in the healing space. They would probably say they're not healers because the creator is doing the work. They're just kind of helping to focus it. So I like that. It makes sense to me. I can't heal anything other than help myself heal. I can guide everyone to their own healing is kind of the way I put it. Ancestral clearing is based on the understanding that we come into this life with the gifts and the burdens of our ancestors. We come in with information, and that information comes in many colors and qualities. Some of those things are helpful. I have in my family resilience that's pretty astonishing. And I think everyone listening to this, if you actually look at your life and look at what you've been through and look at what your parents went through and your grandparents, you probably say you have a lot of resilience built into the system too. So that would be a plus. Of course, we have different kinds of disease resistance that come in. We also have patterns around stress. So on that topic of resilience, there's actually been science around cortisol levels over the generations. Rachel Yehuda and her team did work on Holocaust survivors and their descendants versus the population of people that hadn't been through the Holocaust, and found that the cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, an indicator of stress, cortisol levels are different in people that have experienced the Holocaust, or it's in the lineage or the descendants, like, versus the population that hasn't experienced them. So what's interesting about that is they appear to have less resilience, so they have their window of tolerance is now more narrow. But what's beautiful about our understanding of the brain and the nervous system now is that we can actually build our capacity for resilience. So even if we come into this life with a super sensitivity to certain stressors, we can build in the nervous system greater capacity for resilience than we necessarily come in with. So that's pretty cool. I think that's kind of exciting. That's part of the work that I do around stress management. And I know Leah is got a major as well. She could probably do a dissertation on resilience. So we're both kind of in that field, and that's a big piece of being able to really navigate life from a place of equanimity, no matter what comes our way, which is at high vibration leaders. That would be, on my list of qualities that I would want, so that no matter who I'm sitting in front of and what they're presenting to me or to the group, as a leader of that group, I would be able to help them navigate and help the group navigate that space. So that's building resilience. And how can ancestral clearing help with that? Right. So if we come into the world with this information, and it's stressful information about stress, how we react to stress, maybe unhealthy patterns, beliefs, as Leah said, the process of ancestral clearing can help us release our attachments to those burdens and let them just kind of dissipate and go back to where they came from in the first place. I can give you an experience of it, but I'd like to answer. I'd like to have a little conversation with Leah and maybe Sharon, who's here, about any questions you might have, anything you want me to fill in around what I just said. I can't hear you, Leah. You're muted for some reason. That's interesting.
Well, I muted myself so that my papers wouldn't rustle. So I wanted to bring up my experience of my family of origin history. Is this a good time to do that?
Absolutely. Perfect. It's
okay.
perfect.
All right. Excellent. So what I noticed in myself, I was reading a book about body trauma, and I got stuck. I couldn't breathe. My gut tightened up, and it made me wonder why that was. What was that? What was going on? And as I looked back, the chapter was in Resmaa Menakem's book on my grandmother's hands. And as it was talking about the trauma that white Europeans brought to the Americas, that was the unresolved. And I realized that when I went back in my family history, all my relatives come from Norway. And when I went back and read about the witch burnings that happened in Norway, I mean, I thought that happened in France, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, but that happened in Norway too. And so my ancestors would have been affected by that. And so what I noticed anyway was that over the years, I have been terrified to speak my voice, because people like me would have been killed because I don't fit in. Or I feel like I don't fit in. See, now we do. Now we fit in just fine. But back then, 500 years ago, we did not. We were. So do you want to say anything about that? So I've done a lot of work to release that stuff.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting you brought that particular piece in. I literally got booked on a podcast that's where we're going to be clearing the witch wounds, and my which will be coming up. And then I for this for my newsletter this weekend around Halloween, right? We're right at the end of the month. I'm doing I'll be doing a really featuring there, healing the witch wounds. So it's interesting you brought that piece in. I was reflecting on that yesterday because it's so powerful. And I'm already doing work around the mother wound and the Magdalene wounds, which is the Magdalene wounds are the Mary Magdalene wounds are women standing in their power, women in their intuition, and women in their bodies. I'm already doing work around that. The witch wounds are similar, but they're slightly different and can be more violent in a different way. But as I was reflecting yesterday about who's affected by this, I thought about the field of consciousness and how we're all connected. And I was like, well, we're all affected by this. It's not just women. It's not just women who have that in their lineage, although we may be more present to the effect that it has in our body and maybe the way it's showing up in our life. As Leah said, voice shut down. I tend to want to disappear into the woodwork. That's like I've had to work on that, right? The disappearing thing. When things get uncomfortable around me, that's an old pattern that I had to heal. Also, there can be people that get quite terrified by fire, or on the other hand, mesmerized by a single candle flame. So you see it kind of, you've got both ends of the spectrum there around the witch burning. One would be mesmerized by fire and one would be utter terror of it, right? So you've got kind of a scale there. So you see how it can affect, it can affect us differently, and it affects all of us. Yeah, go ahead, Leah.
Well, I was just going to say, like right now, what I noticed when my children were little, I went through this phase where I gave away art objects, anything that looked like a goddess, anything that looked like women in their power. I just gave it away, and I got to keep my children safe. And it wasn't really conscious. Like I didn't think about it until after that, 2 years later. I'm like, well, that was weird. Like, why did I do that?
Interesting. Yeah. What's coming up for you now, or when you think about that, Leah? Anything particularly?
Well, now I feel like I've moved through those patterns, and but that's been my lifetime, my work life. But the life of my work is speaking my truth, being seen and heard, and that is just yeah, that's been the stuff of decades, is being seen and heard, and being willing to speak my truth.
Beautiful.
But without necessarily fitting into the box.
Get rid of the box. I say get rid of the box. So you're not feeling anything right now in terms of a body sensation charge around the topic that we're talking about?
No, I don't have a body sensation charge anymore. Although what's going on with me right now is I have this skin thing going on my 5th chakra, and it feels like it's coming from deep within and out. Like I'm healing and letting go of another layer.
Yeah, I can see that you've got some redness there. That's interesting. It's probably old anger.
Yeah. That too. I want to point out that Lorraine has said, being afraid of the fire element inside of us. Like, okay, yep, that would be, afraid of my own power. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that, and afraid of the light as well.
Afraid of the light. Yeah.
Afraid of the fire, and because in Ayurveda the digestion is fire element. So the
Ayurveda it is. Okay.
Yeah, and so the belly would be the fire element. So that would be the power, and that's the power chakra, sacral, that chakras or power center, and It could also be, you could also look at that as the light within, afraid of touching the light within, because look what happened to us when we did.
I know. I
Right.
know. Speaking your truth means death and humiliation to your family. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what? We're not doing that anymore. We have shifted beyond that so far that we are being these high vibe leaders who can hold our power steady and stable and speak our truth with conviction. So
yeah, there's still fear out there. There's still fear out there. Maybe not in this group, but I came up against it fairly recently when I was there was an advertisement for a healing health summit, and I came in as a stress management person. And when the person that was running the health summit realized that I was doing ancestral clearing, which is considered energy as energy healing, it's considered energy healing is the actual scientific category that it's listed under. She was like, she didn't want any of that in her summit. And I was like, okay. And so I said, well, I can do straight up stress management and, you know, breath work and resilience work. And she said, well, the problem with that is that if they get to your website, then they'll see that you do energy healing. And I don't want anybody being able to do that, to get to that space.
oh
So
my gosh, you're right. Big fear.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know, so it was very interesting to, now here's another piece of leadership. So that was a person in a leadership space in her sphere, where she was, you know, running her show the way that she felt the best way. And I'm, you know, a leader in my sphere. And the two of us got together and we had a different alignment. But you know what? We respected one another. We just chose to not engage in one another, but we respected each other. And yes, I saw that as fear, but who am I to call that out? That's a person on their own journey, dealing with, you know, stuff that's coming in for them. And you see what I'm saying? They didn't ask for help from me. You see what I'm saying? So there's a thing about respecting boundaries and understanding everyone's got a path, right? So anyway, but that was interesting to me that, yeah, there are still some views out there that are selective. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So we try and, you know, one of my spiritual teachers said to me, because, you know, we say that the creator is infinite, right? And we were talking about one of his spiritual teachers getting angry with God. And I was so shocked because I was like, you got angry with God? You know, he got angry with God. And my teacher said to me, what's the issue, Elizabeth? And I said, well, you know, I was, that's kind of the way I was raised. You don't get angry with God. Like, you know, that's, you know, that's disrespectful. And my teacher said, Elizabeth, do you think God can't handle your anger? And I just started laughing. I started laughing. And I realized that viewpoint around you can't do this was actually limiting my view of the infinite, which is infinite, right? So we try and keep a very large, as large as the mind will allow, perspective on the infinite. Thank you, Lorraine, for your comments here. I'm just wondering if you'd like to have an experience of ancestral clearing, kind of, if you'd like to, where are you actually feeling the fear of the fire element inside of you in this moment? If you are, you may not be, but if you are, where are you feeling it inside of you? Belly and throat. Okay. And if, thank you. And if you, If you can just put your attention on the sensation in the belly and the belly and the throat, and what would the number of the intensity be from 0 to 10, with 10 being the greatest? The level of intensity of that sensation. A 10, okay. If you could put your attention on the 10, the sensation, breathe as normally as you can into that sensation, and just wait for the image or memory to come. An image or memory will come in. Just wait for it to come to you as you breathe normally. And when you get the image or memory, let me know you've got it. Take your time. You got it. Now, you don't have to share if it's too personal. If you want to share, that's fine. How old are you? What's happening? If you don't want to share, I just need to know, what are you saying to yourself in that memory in the most stressful part? This is too much. Okay. I want you to just breathe normally, but I want you to keep your attention on that this is too much. And I'm just going to run a silent, I'm going to do like a silent prayer now as you do that. Just quietly. One moment. Stay with this is too much as you breathe gently. And now I'm going to add this in for Lorraine and all of her ancestors and everyone listening to this and all their ancestors throughout all space, time, dimension, realms, lifetimes, and incarnations for this issue and all issues like it in the lineage. Everything that led up to it, everything that arose from it, everything everyone made it mean, any limiting beliefs, judgments, or conclusions about it, all the letdown because it happened, and the inverse burden, and anytime anyone felt the effects of this in the womb, please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves, find peace with one another, and find peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. And take a breath in and let it out, and notice how that feels in the belly, in the throat, in the body. What's the number, and did it move at all? It's a 3. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, powerful, great work. Let's just see if we can get it down below a 3. Put your attention on the 3, breathing normally. Wait for the image or memory to come in. Don't look for it, just let it come to you. Let me know when you got it. Yeah. What are you saying to yourself in this most stressful part of that memory? No. 3 slow breaths into no. Take your time. 3 slow breaths into no. And now I'm going to add on to here, for everyone listening to this, for all the women in their lineage and the men that this happened to as well, for all the times their light was, people found their light threatening, and they were punished for it, persecuted. All the energy that the fear brought in, or the negative energy that the fear brought in, everything that resulted from it. All religious programming, unhealthy religious programming, all jealousy, one moment, bullying, and all the sense of separation that that anyone felt separate from the world, from each other, and from Creator. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves, find peace with one another, and find peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. Take a breath in and let it out. Notice how that feels in the body, bigger, smaller, or different. What's the number? Different. Yeah, did it move? Different. It's a 3. Did it move? Didn't move. Okay. So remains in the belly and the throat. For all the times our power was, we weren't able to stand in our power. We ceded our power to other people. Oh, for all the contraction and limitation in arranged marriages. I know that sounds a little bit to the side, but it's coming in, so we respect that. And for all the times any of us knew in our hearts what was right to do, but we didn't do it because of the threatening environment we lived in. We feared for our children, we feared for our spouses, we feared for our lives. Wow, something about the plague. One moment. For any time anyone pointed fingers, it's your fault, you did it. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves for all that happened, no matter what it was. Find peace with one another, find peace with yourselves now and forever, no matter what it was. For once and for all, please and thank you. And take a nice big breath in and let it out, and notice how that feels, big or small or different. Did it move? Small or just a vague residue. Yeah, isn't it interesting? How's everybody else doing? Leah and Sharon, did you notice it? Yeah, dissipation. Yeah, big. Yeah, we use that word forgive. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback. We use that word forgive to mean offering up to Creator that which no longer serves us, the unnecessary. We're offering up, letting go of the unnecessary. And, you know, if we knew how to do it, we'd have done it by now, but we bring the Creator into the picture because it knows how to handle all this stuff, and we can ask its help and we get the help. So it's interesting about this work. Really, the only requirement is asking for help. You don't even have to believe in a higher power, you still get the help. It's kind of like, you know, God doesn't care what I call him or if I call it anything. It's still there, whether gravity acts on me, whether I believe in it or not. It's kind of like that. So the wanting the help, being willing to try something new and have something come in on your behalf is really enough for this work. It's quite remarkable. Does anybody have any questions? Thanks so much, Lorraine, for helping us with that template, and everyone got help on that. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, isn't that
I was doing my own process.
Yeah, isn't that sweet how one person can bring something in, but it relates to all of us. Everybody gets the help, which is why I love doing this work, and why it works in a recording, and why it works in groups. We broke on one person, but everybody gets help. It's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We can see that. Eh, in my scenario, well, let's see. In my scenario, I felt like I was on a ship in the North Sea that and got swept overboard. Like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't deserve this.
Mhm.
And it was like I was both the victim and both the perpetrator, because I was pointing fingers at, oh, it was that witch. She did this to me. And so that was interesting that I was playing both sides of it. And then you said something to that effect, which made me think about forgiving everybody for all the pieces of the story.
Yeah, we bring in the inverse burden because we have to work the equation both ways. We don't know what happened, and the spiritual teaching is we're all actors in everyone's play, and we played all the parts. So we make sure to include that, because that's included in the burden we carry, and the information that comes in the system is as all of that, as certainly as potential information as potential in the system.
Well, and across all of our ancestors, we've had those experiences of the victim and the perpetrator, that everybody has that within them. So how do we forgive ourselves?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if anyone else has questions, thoughts, comments. Sharon, you haven't mentioned anything yet. Do you have anything to add?
I would just like to add that I agree with what Elizabeth said too, is like it's incredible about how everyone is brought in. And I believe that that's what happens when it's about the creator and what can work through all of us. And I want to thank Lorraine for sharing as well, because it's not always easy to share. And but by sharing, it helps us too to kind of release and let go. And my mind was so much on, because of what Leah mentioned, is talking about the witches, and and I just keep thinking about my mom and my grandma. And for all of those years that I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and they were called witches, and it was always a joke. And part of them being called witches was because intuitively they knew things, but they were careful about sharing. And the way that they shared was that they cared a lot. Anyone could call them at any time and say, can you come over and help me with something? And they would be there. And I never got to speak to my mom and grandma about all of that. And then when I realized that I was a highly sensitive empath, and realizing that my mom and my grandma were as well, and then having some clearing done with Leah, speaking about the lineage of my mom and grandma back down to the star seeds, that was like mind blowing to me. Was like, wow. And I've always felt that grateful that I'm here now in this point in my life where I feel that I have done so much work to come through all of that it's helped my mom and my grandma. And I just feel that they're up there in heaven being proud of me. And Elizabeth, I also like how you brought in the men of in the life too, because my mom and grandma were married to men. Mom was married twice. Grandma was only married once, but they were married to men who were closed off. One was German, one was English. You had all of those kinds of dynamics, but also chauvinists, and that's another thing that Leah helped clear on my father's side of the lineage, was that piece of it and that was really powerful once I understood that too. And now I am working through, and I was excited to see this class because I'm working through the financial piece of that, of my ancestors, of realizing the limitations, that the limitations and the blocks that I may have inherited, and that not I may have, I know I inherited. because, you know, also coming from maybe family who doesn't believe that they deserve any better, or because the biggest strength that I got from my family, from both sides of my mom and my dad, was a very strong work ethic.
Mhm.
But their lives revolved around that. So it was everything is like eye-opening, and I think that we can all glean information that will help us to keep moving forward on whatever that journey is, that healing journey that we're on. But I'm proud to be doing this work on myself and healing myself for my family and for my generational, you know, because I still deal with family members who really don't get me, like, you know, like my brother, and they don't get me. It's like I'm weird, and I just feel like that's okay. They don't have to get me. I'm all right with that. Yeah, it's sad because they're my family, but I get it. And I also, you know, and I run into people who don't really get me, and that's fine too. I just realized that I'm coming to be who I'm being called to be by the creator. So
Mhm.
thank you for all that you both do in this area of helping us to really come full circle in our healing journey.
Beautiful. Where do you feel the sensation of the limitation around money?
It's funny because I was feeling it in my throat. I say it's funny because we mentioned throat before, but when you were doing work with the rain, actually it moved to my lower back.
Mhm.
So
Left or
almost
right side?
near the root chakra. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Left or right
and
side
that
of dead center.
yeah, and also the, you know, the sacral and the solar plexus, but more the sacral, you know, and I was like, okay, for me
Yeah,
it's
the
speaking
left
the
or
financial.
left or right side.
Um more in the middle.
In the middle. Okay.
The
Yeah.
more in the middle. Yeah.
The sacral, the root there is where is our is that chakra with about around safety, resources, family. And then the sacral chakra is more like creativity. And then of course the next one is the solar plexus. There is power center, right? So I'm not surprised they all got hit. Right. What's the number, the level of intensity that you're feeling in this moment?
In this moment, after the work we just got done, it's way down. I mean, it went down from like a 10 to like a 3, where I don't feel that intensity anymore. You
Yeah,
know, it's still there, but it's
yeah.
still noticeable. But
Put your attention on the 3 and
okay.
just breathe normally into it and wait for the image or memory to come. Let's see what shows up. May not make any sense, but first image or memory that shows up. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but let me know when you got it. Take your time. Yeah, okay. What are you saying to yourself in the most stressful part of that memory? And you're muted, so you can unmute when you're ready to tell me.
What I'm saying is I'm a young child, and my mom's talking to me about the sensitivity, you know, how sensitive I am, and me not fully understanding that.
Okay. What are you saying to yourself in the most stressful part of that memory?
I'm thinking there's something wrong with me.
Say 3 slow breaths right there. There's something wrong with me. Take your time with the breath. Yeah, go ahead, Lorraine. You do. I'm not important. While Sharon does. There's something wrong with me. And I'm going to follow up with this comprehensive prayer for the whole group now, including your issues. Infinite Creator, source of all that is, all that you are, was, and ever will be. We ask humbly and gratefully that you help everyone listening to this and all of their relationships and all of their ancestors and all of their relationships throughout all relevant space, time, dimension, lives, lifetimes, and incarnations. For all the times you felt let down by life, by family members, by relationships, by anyone representing the Creator. For any time you felt let down by the Creator in any name or form. For any time you turned your back on the Creator or felt the Creator turned his back on you. Please help everyone involved to forgive each other and forgive yourselves and be at peace with one another and at peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. For all the times you were abandoned, not supported, nurtured, and loved the way you needed. Please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. For the times you didn't support, nurture, and love others in the ways they needed. And for any time you were out of integrity with one another or another out of integrity with you. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves, find peace with one another, and find peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. For all war, battle, Holocaust, genocide, persecution, slavery, injustice of any kind, any oppression of misuse of power, position, authority, politically, judicially, medically, spiritually, or in any other way. For all slander, libel, or any other misuse of the power of the word. Please help everyone involved, directly or indirectly, to forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, financial, through thought, word, or action. All that happened and all you may mean. Please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves for the highest good, please, and thank you. For all suicide, incest, murder, rape, abortion, infidelity, infertility, miscarriage, all of it. Everyone involved in any way. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves. Please and thank you. For anyone who is stubborn, judgmental, or bullying, for the times you didn't follow the inner knowing of your heart, for all this and all regret, please help you all forgive one another and forgive yourselves, please and thank you. For all the hurts and wrongs to the earth, the life of the earth, Native, Indigenous, First Nation people. Please help all of you to forgive one another no matter what happened, no matter what it was, and forgive yourselves. Be at peace with one another and peace with yourselves, please and thank you. For all betrayal, stealing, gaslighting, backbiting, jealousy, secrecy, or lying. For any time words were left unspoken to keep the peace in the moment and any resulting resentment. Please help everyone involved to forgive one another and forgive yourselves, please and thank you. For any time you believed, felt, or were shown you weren't enough. For the times you tried to earn or learn your way into the value of your family, your relationships, and into the grace and love of the Creator. For all that led up to this and all that arose from it. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with yourselves, please and thank you. For all empathic hurts and wrongs, anytime you took on others' unresolved issues, carried or shouldered their burdens, for all adversity, struggle, and hardship you saw, especially as children. For any dark night of the soul experiences, please help you all forgive each other, forgive yourselves, all family members, and all relationships. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, anything we left out, if it serves the highest good, we include it now. For all that happened and all you made it mean, everything that led up to and arose from hurts, wrongs, limitation, burden of any kind that's not serving the highest good. We ask all of you, everyone involved directly and indirectly, to forgive your parents and grandparents, children, siblings, and grandchildren. Help them forgive you, help you all forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. Your whole family and lineage. Help you forgive your cousins, aunts, uncles, step-in-laws, hidden, secret, foster, adopted, and all other significant people, beings, family members, relationships, role models, and authority figures. Help them all forgive you, help you all forgive yourselves. Infinite Creator, all that you are, please, and thank you for the highest good. Please lift out all, help us lift out and release all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, limitation, and all superstition energy. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. And just take a breath in and let it out and notice how that feels in the body. Big or small or different.
Big difference. Yeah,
Okay.
big difference.
Hmm.
One of the things that came to me was even though I felt like there was something wrong with me, at the same time, I understand now that my mom was really just trying to protect me. Like she was protecting herself and her mother was protecting herself all their lives.
Mhm. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, well, it's difficult for us to get to that piece until we've cleared our own burden around it. So it gives you, it's an indication of how much you cleared yourself to be able to even present yourself to that truth. Yeah, beautiful work. And
Thank you.
thank you so much, Lorraine. So glad that you're feeling more. Leah says she's feeling more clear. Awesome. Okay, everyone. Anybody got any questions?
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Delightful, delightful. I want to bring up, I'm going to do a quick screen share that Elizabeth and I wrote chapters in The Ancestors Within. Do you see that book? Oh, here, I'm trying to make that bigger. There we go. Okay. The Ancestors Within, book series that won lots of awards for being fabulous. We each wrote one chapter in that, and Elizabeth has got her own book, and I've got my own book, but this particular is about the ancestors. So I just wanted you to see this. And I'm going to put the link in the chat, which is.
You can also reach out to Leah or me and get autographed copies if you want
Yes.
books. I've got all of them. You can get them through my website. Yeah.
I'm looking for, oh, there it is. Okay. Do you want to talk about your free gift?
Sure. Yeah. So my free gift is an e-booklet of Ancestral Clearing prayers, which cover a bunch of different aspects of the Ancestral Clearing piece. And also, I would invite you into my Healing Here Now Mindfulness and Trauma Recovery course. We're about to go, it's a 12-part course that spanned the year. So we've done 10 classes. We're about to do class 11 and 12 in November and December. But the recordings are there, and everyone that registers has access to all the recordings, and you can look at them all at your own pace. Now, what's kind of interesting about this particular course is, I'm so glad it was helpful for you, Lorraine. What's helpful about this course is each of the lectures, each of the classes is actually standalone. I mean, it's a whole unit. They all work together, but each class is a standalone class. So you can drop into class and take that and get a lot just from that. So it's a donation based class. So everyone can come in and if you register, you get on my email list. Not on my newsletter list. You'd have to actually ask me to get on my newsletter list, but you'll get on the list for this class to get all the emails that go with it. Yeah, thanks for asking, Leah.
Excellent, excellent. I put the class link here.
Thank you.
All right. The next session of High Vibration Living Leaders Bridging Inner and Outer Peace is coming up November 22nd. Oh, that's interesting. That's the day before Thanksgiving, and I will be baking a turkey. Okay, so with Carrie Doubts, who will be talking about grief and how to honor the holidays when you are experiencing grief. I've got a story about that one too. So again, here's the link to join that class. And any last comments, thoughts? Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for bringing your wisdom into our circle today.
Oh, I so enjoyed it. Thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you, Lorraine and Sharon, for bringing your issues in, because it not only helped you, it helped all of us. And Leah started it all off with her issues. So we we're able to cover a lot of ground, and the replay is just as powerful in this space. It's just as powerful as the live. So I encourage everyone to to listen to the replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I will be sending this out to everybody on our list, inviting people to attend to watch the replay. And if, again, because we are healing ourselves to heal the world. So if we are transforming fear into love, and when we can pull that out of ourselves, then we send out ripples of well-being that uplift the people around us, and I believe impact our ancestors as well. So if you on the recording, or if you've received some benefit, we would welcome your donation. Thank you so much. Small or large, everything makes a difference. So thank you to our guests. Thank you to our featured speaker, Elizabeth. We're delighted to have you join us. And yes, we've had a lot of richness here with all of your energy in this gathering. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Delightful. Have a blessed rest of the day.
Take care, everyone.